We have Juliet Vandermolen, and hopefully Juliet pronounced that right, thank you, currently living in the greater New York City area. Juliet Vandermolen is an intersectional feminist and member of the LGBTQIA community. She is the poetry editor for the Monkey Chick magazine, and her books include Death Library, The Exquisite Corpse Collection, and Mother, May I? Her forthcoming book, Anatomy of a Dress, publishes in December of this year through Hedgehog Poetry Press. And you can find out more about her at her website and on Twitter as well. So Juliet, welcome here to Cafe Improv. So exciting to have you here. We haven't had poets as often as we would like, so it's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, so let me pass this to Tom in here.
So I'm not going to sing for you tonight. You're welcome. I am going to read you some poems from my upcoming book, Anatomy of a Dress, and that's publishing in December. Anatomy of a Dress is a feminist fashion show that's aimed at exposing misogyny and stripping the patriarchy from its power. There's a lot of controversy about hemlines. Even Wall Street has an opinion. I recently read about a superstition called skirt length theory, and it basically states that when hemlines rise, so do stock prices. This is a phenomenon known as bare knees bull market. This poem is dedicated to hemlines and the assumptions that are made about women and their morals based on how long or short those hems might be. My hem. My hem is not the waterline of marked desire or intention. It is just a finished edge that falls here or there. It is not a signal to send hands into a traffic pattern or to obstruct. It is not up for debate or speculation. It asks for nothing. Thank you. So it's been a hot summer, and anybody that's been in Jersey this summer knows that people will do just about anything to escape the heat. This poem is based on the true story of my youngest cousin who was doing just that when she was about 3 years old. We were in the Philadelphia Zoo, and she decided to imitate her brother and mine by going shirtless. The title of the poem is Smocked. Puckered tight, disapproving lips where threads have pulled and gathered red and white gingham checks across a chest that doesn't know how to expand just yet. Tennis shoes tied in double knots, sun-licking pavement until it is gooey and spongy with heat. I pull at a cotton-filled elastic, a sticky hug clinging without consent. Ruffled straps slipped off my shoulders until I am free, like my brother, my cousin, who bear their chests proudly in the blazing June heat. Shock and awe at my newfound bravery, which isn't bravery at all, but a misunderstanding of what girls don't do. The edge of my bobbed hair cuts a knife line into my cheeks, while my head hangs and mother rushes to cover me, but not before a picture that will be taken that everyone will laugh at for years to come. Wasn't she cute when she didn't understand? When she thought she could do anything just like the boys? Thank you. So I watched my youngest daughter work really hard at cheerleading for most of her high school years. Those girls are pretty amazing. They work out hard and they perform gymnastics that I could never hope to do, even when I was their age. They work out off season. Their commitment is intense. They work hard on the sidelines for the people in the main event to rev up the crowd and help energize the athletes. The athletes on the field also synchronize themselves in a different way, but I noticed the athletes she was cheering for were mostly boys, because football is still the prize sport of American high schools. Each of those athletes had a name and number on his jersey. He was part of a team, but you see, his individual identification was also important. This poem is dedicated to girls that I saw working together to literally lift each other and their extended teammates on the field. It's called Girls on Parade. Flown high, small voices turn loud for crowds synchronized to one breath. Hair pulled tight, bound and topped in gleaming glitter below lights, lifting spirits for jerseys and pads and helmets on a Friday night. A V-notch modern, Spankies printed to draw the eye, twirl and whirl long looks up legs, red lips, wide eyes. No name stitched for recognition, chromosome deficient, just one organism, until finally determined that they are competition in matching skirts. Thank you. The last poem is dedicated to all of the advice that's been handed down to women by women from the past. Sometimes well-meaning advice can send damaging messages and set up thought patterns that we don't intend. When I put this poem together, I had to think about that, and I had to think about all of the ways that I might have participated in messages from the patriarchy without even meaning to. This is the title poem of the book, and it's called Anatomy of a Dress. Do not choose a neckline too low. Though we call you sweetheart until the time comes to grow and bloom, swelling to show décolletage, beckoning hands or mouths that never noticed before, now itching to touch, tongue seeking to slake. Be watchful of hemlines that land a secret code across ankles, calves, and you asked for it thighs, alerted to all-seeing eyes. Even those sleeves, bearing shoulders much less wanton than knees, a litmus test, your willingness to undress, to bear freckled skin for the enjoyment of men. Zippered along a spine, fit and flare calling all entry points, no twirl will defend, best done, trembling vertical, blending into brick and mortar, for there is far less molestation at the edges of a life lived safely out of bounds. We are skirts of signal flags calling to ships but boarded by pirates in treacherous waters, dragged under the power of a full fathom 5 against clenched fists and hungry mouths. Treasure tossed without care, unkind and unfair, the fact still remains. This is the anatomy of a dress. Thank you.
Juliet van der Molen. Once again, she has a website, julietwrites.com, and her forthcoming book, which is going to be published in December, is called Anatomy of a Dress, and it is from Hedgehog Poetry Press. Thank you so much.
All righty. Well, very good. Thank you again so much, Juliet.